hanging out here. A little bit of a rainy day here in St. Augustine, but that's okay. It's been getting nice out, so I can't complain. As long as it's not that crazy Atlantic frost of 2010. That thing was horrific. Anyways, so I'm hanging out, and I was just reading a book on a rainy day. I've been cracking away at what would Google or what would VDF do, which we told you about. Mark and I shared as we released VDF 2.0 was an inspiration for guiding a lot of our business model that we chose for this. And I've been reading this book very, very slowly because there's just so much in it that just really challenges you. And there were a couple things I read that I felt like you really need to hear about in your businesses, whether you're an online entrepreneur, a real estate investor, or some sort of combination of the two. Now, the reason I've been reading this book, is, the title on the cover says it really well. There's a quote here, and by the way, I don't work for this book. We probably should have a link on the page to buy the book, but we're just all about sharing great resources that we find in our businesses. And sounds like you may or may, if you have really good hearing, you might hear that Sarai wants to make a guest appearance on the show. You might hear her crying in the background because one of the joys of working from home. Anyways, the quote on the book says, "Google is not just a company; it's an entirely new way of thinking." And as you read this book, what you'll find is that it really starts to, it's both very exciting and very scary at the same time. Exciting about the opportunities that there are as just the economy and the marketplace just totally changes, and you start to read this and you understand how Google is just at the forefront of literally everything that's happening, in my humble opinion, and certainly the opinion of the book. And then it's also scary because you start to look at your own business, your own model, and you say, wow, am I really doing those things? Am I part of that business and model that is being left behind, or am I part of that business and model that's prepared for the next generation of the marketplace and the economy? Anyways, I read this quote, and I've never done this. I've never read a book on a show, but I wanted to read to you because I read this, and I just thought this was really, really, really crazy, and I had to read this for you. And I give a warning. First of all, this is in Google's book. I am not saying this. I have my opinions. Jeff Jarvis from What Would Google Do, or What Would VDF Do now, has his opinions, but I did not write this, so please don't kill me if you happen to be a real estate agent or a real estate broker. I'm just reading out of a book. Little warning there, because it's pretty controversial. So Jeff says, release information bottlenecks and make things more liquid. In other words, stop trying to make money by interfering in transactions. Consider my least favorite inefficient marketplace, real estate. I hate paying agents 6% commission for doing so little. They in turn hate it when I talk about them in my blog. What we think of real estate agents around the world is an open secret. A 2008 survey by the British Journalism Review found that real estate agents are the least trusted professionals, worse than even tabloid reporters. Only 10% of Britons trust them. But real estate agents have nothing to fear from me, or they think the internet, because they control one of the last dark pools of restricted information left in business, the multiple listing service database of properties for sale. If your house isn't listed there, buyers won't see it and other agents won't show it and sell it. But only real estate agents can list homes on MLS. I call that monopolistic restraint of trade. Real estate agents call it service. The U.S. Justice Department called it antitrust, and in 2008, it reached a settlement with the National Association of Realtors to open up the multiple listing service somewhat to discount brokers. It was a small victory against the middleman. Agents say they bring you pricing expertise. But in the U.S., Zillow.com will give you an automated estimate of your home's worth based on comparable sales in your area. Zillow tracks its own accuracy, comparing actual sales prices with its estimates. So much for that bit of expertise, Ms. Agent. Agents say they market your house. They used to advertise a selection of homes in our Sunday paper, but those ads promoted their agencies as much as marketing specific properties. Real estate ads are like grocery ads that entice you to come in because flank steak is on sale or because one house caught your eye. Now, thanks to the internet, there's less need for agencies to advertise in papers. Real estate agents say it can save money by putting listings on their own websites or even Craigslist and Zillow. They rarely pass those savings on to homeowners. Agents say they bring expertise to buyers, not just sellers. When I bought homes, I went to agents so I could see the multiple listing service and pick out my prospects. The only real service the agent provided was hauling me around and letting me go into homes. A real estate agent may see you not so much as an ally, but as a mark. Stephen Day Levitt and Stephen Dubner wrote in a 2005 opinion, Seeing Things Differently, Freakonomics. They cited a study found that real estate agents keep their own homes on the market an average of 10 days longer than homes they represent, and agents sell their own homes at prices 3% higher. Levitt and Dubner explained that it's more efficient for agents if they get you to sell quickly, even if for a few dollars less. Here they wrote, it's the agent's main weapon, the conversion of information into fear. Okay, so really a lot of things in there, and I kind of want to start from the beginning because I thought this is something that we all need to think about, even whether you're real estate agents or real estate investors, or you're not even in this business, because it applies to all businesses. Talking about that quote that starts off when he says, release information bottlenecks and make things more liquid. In other words, stop trying to make money by interfering in transactions. And that's something that's really interesting, because a lot of times, I've had people come to me, even inside a virtual deal factory, and they'll say, well, I have a buyer and I have a seller and I want to connect these people and I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do da-da-da-da, but I'm afraid, I'm not going to make money, or I'm afraid this other guy's going to steal this other thing or do a deal without me, or he's going to take my information. And we always need to have due diligence, but if your whole business model is predicated on you finding a way to make sure you get paid because you're not bringing enough value to the equation, that's a problem. For myself, hypothetically, I have a great idea for a business and I talk to somebody about it. If it's a great idea, I'm a little concerned they might take it, but I know that I bring something behind that idea. I know because of my expertise, my experience, my background, my track record, I know that the idea is not nearly what the value is of me behind that idea. Similarly with you and your business shouldn't be just predicated on the idea that, well, I have something and I better get paid for it because as soon as I release a little bit of control, I can immediately be cut out of the equation. If your business is that flimsy that you can so easily be cut out of the equation, then that's something you absolutely need to rethink. And especially, looking at this, what he was talking about when he was talking about the MLS. Now there's, when we sold our house back in Jersey, that's what I use. I use something called flat fee MLS listing, where you get them on MLS. It costs, I think I paid about $450 instead of what would have been closer to $9,000 to be on MLS. And I did all the things the agent would have done. I think honestly I did them better than the agent would have done. Didn't take me a whole lot of time, and we ended up saving actually saved about $20,000 because we didn't have to pay either side of the agent fee because we ended up finding a buyer that wasn't represented by an agent. But so that's an alternative for selling properties. Now, what's the point? The point is the business is changing, and as the market changes, as flat fee MLS comes out, as people start having different ways to advertise properties, the thing you never want to do in your business is convince people that it hasn't changed. Right? If you're a real estate agent right now, you don't want to have your business be predicated on, I don't know why I'm using, I feel like Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse, predicated, it's the word of the day. Whenever I say it, you will all scream, okay? I already said it like 3 times. Anyways, you don't want your whole business built upon the concept that, okay, you can't advertise a property without me. There's no way you could sell a house without me, so on and so forth, because the truth is, people know, wow, I can advertise on FSBO, Craigslist, Zillow, all these other places. I can get information in other places. I can contact buyers. You need to sit there and rethink your business and say, okay, now that these parts of my business are available, what else can I offer? What else can I offer to make my service valuable? And maybe that's saying, hey, I'm going to stage your home. I'm going to show you how to market your home, the right way. Hey, I have buyers. I have a built-in buyer list that I can bring to your property. Whatever it is, I'm a negotiation specialist. If I can't negotiate your property at this price or higher, I'll cut, I won't get paid my commission. Whatever it is, you need to figure out what is it that's going to bring your value to. Not just saying, oh, I have access to something you can't possibly get access to. Because, like Jeff was saying in his book, and like all of you probably know as savvy internet people, now you can research just about anything. You have access to court records, property listings, past property sales. Zillow, even Google now has a pretty neat real estate tool that you can check out and find foreclosures and see sales in the area and all these other things. So having a whole business that's just built around trying to choke out information and preventing people from getting the information, which they can get anyways, and then trying to convince them they can't, Really, really bad business model. So, really made me think a lot. And, that was part of what, what we thought about with VDF is, we didn't want to sit here and create a model that required, us to sort of feel like we were controlling people. Because honestly, we started and we were like, let's have different membership levels, and then free members can only do this much, and then paid members could do this much, and premium members can do this much. And it was like basically what we were doing is trying to get a couple dollars here and there and restricting flow within the system, restricting flow within the platform, restricting connections and deals and money making between people. And so over a period of weeks, actually a couple months, the idea of like, what does a free model look like? What does a free model look like? Kept coming up because we said, you know what? That makes sense. That is the right way to do this. We need to be concerned about what's best for VDF members, not what's best for myself or Mark, and what's not, best over the next 30 days of getting 1,000 members paying membership or 10,000. What's best long-term and what's best for the community. And so we sat back and said, what's best is not to have those restrictions. If people can help each other inside VDF, we shouldn't be putting up all these barriers preventing them from helping each other, preventing them from making deals, finding solutions, doing better business, starting businesses together, and all those different things. Does that make sense? And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, one more quote, and I'm going to keep talking about this book over the weeks to come. Again, I'm kind of digesting it in little bits because there's just a ton in it. And it really, really, if you're going to read this book the right way, you need to read it and challenge yourself every step of the way. Anyways, check this out. Really interesting. This is on a chapter in deciding what business you're in. And he says, Google knows more about what we know and what we want to know and what we do with that than any other business. But its profit doesn't come from either. Google's profit comes from advertising, which it dominates because it is good at search and has so many of us using its services and knows so much that it can get targeted ads efficiently. Google knows what it is. AOL thought it was a content business, which is why Tom Warner, a content company, made the disastrous mistake of combining with AOL. In reality, AOL was a community business. Its chats and forums were pioneered and popular long before Facebook and MySpace. And the service business, You've Got Mail on AOL, way before you've gotten it from Gmail. AOL didn't ask the right question. What business are we really in? Poor Yahoo thought too it was in the content business. That's why it hired Hollywood studio exec Terry Semel to be its CEO. He tried to turn it into a digital movie studio. But Yahoo could have owned search as a pioneer in web directories. It handed that to Google. It could have owned search advertising as a pioneer there. But it ceded leadership in automated advertising as well to Google. What business is Yahoo really in? I think it never decided. What business are you in? And that's something you have to really ask yourself. I always talk about when we work with real estate investors, Mark and I always talk about, you're not in the real estate business, you're in the business of helping people with real estate problems. But you want to get even deeper, whether you're in an online business or whatever, you sell products online, multi-level marketing, real estate, whatever it is, day trading. You need to figure out what business are you in. Just like McDonald's, a lot of people think McDonald's is in the hamburger business. They're not. You ask the owners and all the CEOs, and they'll all tell you over the years, they'll tell you they're in the real estate business. They're in the business of having the best, most high traffic real estate around the planet. And that's what McDonald's has. And tomorrow, hamburgers became illegal, McDonald's would still be insanely profitable because they have the best real estate on the planet. They're in the real estate business. So you need to ask yourself, what business are you in? And don't let your answer be predicated. Did you scream? Did you scream for predicated? It's the word of the day. Don't let your answer be predicated on your past decisions or what you call yourself. You really need to look deep into your business and say, what is it that I really do? What exactly is the heart of my business? Because a lot of times it's a lot deeper than what's on the surface. So that's what I got for you. Make sure to tune in daily. Have a great day inside the Virtual Deal Factory. Go forth, make something big happen, and be sure to share your success stories with Mark, myself, and Vinny Dealfini here in VDF, here for you. Having a great time. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.